The storm outside had been raging for hours, lightning flashing like fractured veins across the night sky, thunder rolling through the mountains. Ethan Ward pressed his shoulder against the cabin door until it latched tight, his breath visible in the cold. He lived alone in these high woods, where silence was his only company and peace his only goal. After losing his wife years ago, he'd built this place from the ground up, one nail and tear at a time. He stirred the fire and sat back in his worn leather chair. The world outside howled with wind and rain, yet inside it was calm until he heard it. Faint tapping. Not the wind. Not an animal. He rose, slow and cautious, taking his flashlight from the table. The tapping came again, 3 quick knocks against the door. When he opened it, his beam of light caught something impossible. She was small, no taller than his knee, drenched, trembling, and wrapped in what looked like a thin metallic fabric that shimmered faintly in the rain. Her eyes were enormous and glowing softly, a hue of pale violet. Her silver hair clung to her face, and her tiny hands clutched what seemed to be a small crystal orb. "Please," she whispered, her voice fragile but clear. "I mean no harm. Just shelter." Ethan stared, his mind spinning. "You, what are you?" Her lip quivered. "Lost." Something about that single word pierced through his shock. He stepped aside. "Get in before you freeze." She entered hesitantly, dripping water onto the wood floor. The warmth of the fire reflected in her wide eyes as she wrapped her arms around herself. Ethan grabbed a soft towel and crouched to her level. "Here. Dry off." Her fingers brushed his as she took it. The touch was warm, surprisingly human. By the time the storm subsided, Ethan had given her one of his old flannel shirts, which looked like a cloak on her tiny frame. She sat near the fire, sipping from a mug he'd carefully filled with warm water. "My name's Ethan," he said gently. "You got one." She hesitated. "Lyra. That from around here." She smiled faintly. "No. Very far from here. My vessel malfunctioned during atmospheric descent. I was separated from my people." Ethan blinked, leaning forward. "You mean a spaceship?" She nodded. "It crashed beyond your ridge. I barely escaped before it imploded." He studied her, her delicate frame, her strange luminous eyes, her faintly glowing veins beneath translucent skin. She wasn't lying. Every instinct in him screamed that she was something beyond Earth. "Well, you're safe here," he finally said. "We'll figure things out in the morning." Lyra looked up, meeting his gaze. "Why would you help me?" He shrugged. "You knocked on my door in a storm. Seems the right thing to do." Something softened in her expression, a quiet wonder, as though she'd never heard such simple kindness before. The following days brought a fragile routine. Ethan taught her how to use the wood stove, how to make tea, how to wrap herself in a blanket instead of that strange metallic suit. In return, she told him stories of her world, of silver skies and floating cities, of creatures that glowed like stars. She learned quickly, mimicking human speech and gestures with uncanny precision. Sometimes he'd catch her standing by the window, staring at the snow-covered pines like she was memorizing Earth itself. One night, as they sat by the fire, she said softly, "Your world is quiet, peaceful." "Not always," he replied. "But this place is. I came here to find silence." "Why?" He hesitated. "Because I lost someone. And I thought maybe in the quiet I could stop hearing her voice." Lyra's eyes dimmed with understanding. "On my world, when someone dies, we say they become light again. Perhaps she became part of your sky." Her words caught him off guard. Gentle, alien, and yet deeply human. He smiled sadly. Maybe she did. Weeks passed. Snow fell thicker, the world turning white and still. Lyra began helping around the cabin, cleaning, organizing, even humming softly as she worked. Her voice carried a haunting tone, as if the wind itself listened. One evening, Ethan found her outside, barefoot in the snow, her hands raised toward the stars. "Lyra, you'll freeze," he shouted, rushing to her. She turned, smiling faintly. "I can feel them calling. My people. They are close now." His heart tightened. "You mean, you'll be leaving soon?" "Yes," she whispered. "My signal has reached them. They will come for me when the skies are clear." He didn't speak. He couldn't. That night he couldn't sleep. The thought of her leaving gnawed at him like a slow ache. He'd grown used to her presence, the soft hum of her voice, her laughter echoing off the cabin walls, the warmth she brought to a place once defined by loss. The next morning, Lyra approached him. She looked uncertain, almost shy. "Ethan, your world has shown me something mine never did." "What's that?" he asked. She placed her small hand over his heart. "This connection, warmth. I thought I understood emotion, but here, I feel something I cannot name." His breath caught. "Lyra," she smiled sadly. "We are not meant to bond with humans. It breaks laws older than your stars." But still. He knelt, eyes locked with hers. "Still. I love you," she whispered. The words hit him like a storm. He reached out slowly, gently brushing a strand of her silver hair aside. "You think I don't feel it too? You walked into my life when I thought nothing could reach me again." They stayed there, firelight flickering between them, two souls from different worlds bound by something neither fully understood. That night, the sky tore open with light, a massive vessel descending silently above the forest, casting a silver glow over the snow. Lyra turned toward it, her expression torn between duty and sorrow. "They're here," she said softly. Ethan clenched his fists. "Then go. You have to." She stepped close, pressing her forehead to his. "Thank you for showing me love that doesn't belong to the stars." And before he could answer, she vanished, lifted in a beam of light that carried her into the sky. The forest was silent again. The glow faded, leaving only the soft whisper of falling snow. Days turned into months. Spring melted the frost, and the forest came alive once more. Ethan carried on, chopping wood, tending the garden, but the cabin no longer felt lonely. One evening, as he sat by the fire, a soft glow filled the room. On the table, where he'd left her small crystal orb, it pulsed faintly. When he touched it, her voice, whispered through the air. Ethan looked to the stars. "I'm there. Always watching. Always with you." He looked out the window. Above the dark line of trees, a single star shone brighter than the rest, violet like her eyes. He smiled. For the first time in years, his heart felt full again. And though she was gone, love had found him once more, eternal, boundless, and written across the stars. The months that followed were quiet, yet never empty. Ethan often caught himself setting out 2 mugs instead of 1, or glancing toward the window, half expecting to see her silhouette framed against the falling snow. Though she was gone, her presence lingered, woven into the air he breathed, the fire's glow, and the heartbeat of the forest that surrounded him. One warm spring evening, he was chopping wood when something glimmered among the trees.